Most people want to live a long life. We dream about watching our grandchildren grow up, traveling in retirement, or even just sitting peacefully on our porch at 90, smiling at how far we've come. But here's the shocking truth. The majority of people don't even make it past 80. And it's not always because of bad luck or an accident. The real reason? Silent health problems. Hidden issues inside the body that work quietly day after day until they finally take over. The sad part is, many of these conditions give almost no warning signs. People often feel fine until one day they don't. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the 4 hidden health problems that quietly cut lives short. These are the reasons why so many people don't reach their 80s and 90s. And more importantly, we'll talk about how you can protect yourself and your loved ones from them. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have practical steps you can take right now that could literally add years, even decades, to your life. Scene 1. Why do so many people stop at 80? Now, before we break down the 4 hidden health problems, let's ask a bigger question. Why is it that in the modern world, where we have advanced medicine, healthier food options, and more knowledge about the human body than ever before, so many people still fail to reach old age? Think about it. In the past 100 years, life expectancy has doubled. In the early 1900s, the average person lived only about 40 to 50 years. Today, in many countries, people regularly reach 70 or 80. That's amazing progress. But here's the catch. Just because the average went up doesn't mean everyone is reaching their full potential lifespan. Scientists estimate that the human body is capable of living up to 110, even 120 years under the right conditions. Yet most people never come close. And the main reason is not sudden accidents. It's not war or famine or even infectious diseases anymore. Instead, the real problem is what doctors call chronic, silent killers. These are long-term health conditions that grow slowly and quietly. At first, they're invisible. You don't feel them. You don't see them. And because of that, people ignore them. Then one day, they catch up all at once. This is what we're going to explore. The 4 biggest hidden health issues that stop people from living beyond 80. And as we go through them, I want you to think about your own health, your parents, your grandparents, and ask, are any of these affecting us right now without us even realizing it? Problem number 1, silent heart disease. Narration. The number 1 hidden killer across the world is heart disease. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't I feel chest pain if my heart was in trouble? The surprising answer is, not always. Heart disease is often called the silent killer. Here's why. Inside your body, your arteries are like highways for blood. They carry oxygen and nutrients to every cell. But over time, things like poor diet, lack of exercise, smoking, or even just genetics can cause plaque, a sticky, fatty substance, to build up along the walls of those arteries. At first, you don't feel anything. The blood is still moving, maybe just a little slower. But as the years go by, those arteries get narrower and narrower. Imagine a water pipe in your house that slowly clogs up with rust. For months, maybe years, the water still flows. But eventually, the pressure builds, and one day, boom, the pipe bursts. That's what happens in the body when someone has a sudden heart attack or stroke. Problem number 2, undetected diabetes. Narration. The second hidden health problem that quietly stops many people from living past 80 is undiagnosed diabetes. Now, when most people hear the word diabetes, they immediately think of sugar. They imagine someone who eats too much cake or soda. But diabetes is much more complex and far more dangerous than people realize. Here's the shocking part. Millions of people around the world have diabetes right now and don't even know it. It's estimated that nearly 1 in 2 adults with diabetes are undiagnosed, That's hundreds of millions of people walking around with silent, hidden damage inside their bodies. How diabetes works. Simple explanation. So let's break it down simply. Your body runs on energy, right? The fuel it uses is glucose, sugar from the foods you eat. Normally, your body produces insulin, a hormone that helps move that sugar from your blood into your cells, where it's used for energy. But when someone has type 2 diabetes, their body either doesn't make enough insulin or their cells become resistant to it. That means sugar stays in the blood instead of moving into the cells. And what happens when sugar levels in the blood stay high for too long? It's like acid slowly corroding a machine. High blood sugar damages blood vessels, nerves, and organs silently over years. The silent nature of diabetes. Here's why it's so dangerous. In the early stages, diabetes often doesn't hurt. There's no sudden pain, no obvious symptoms. Maybe you feel a little more tired than usual. Maybe your vision gets blurry sometimes. Maybe you get thirsty more often. But most people just chalk it up to aging. By the time it's diagnosed, serious damage may already be happening, like kidney disease, vision loss, nerve pain, or even heart problems. Problem number 3, hidden cancers. Narration. The third hidden health problem that quietly prevents people from living beyond 80 is cancer that goes unnoticed until it's too late. Now, when we hear the word cancer, most of us think of dramatic, painful symptoms, sudden weight loss, constant fatigue, or tumors that can be felt. But the truth is, many of the deadliest cancers don't start with obvious warning signs. Instead, they grow silently, hidden deep inside the body, often for years. By the time someone finally notices something is wrong, the disease may already be in its later stages, much harder to treat and far more dangerous. The silent nature of cancer. Let's take colon cancer as an example. In its early stages, it often has no symptoms at all. A small growth, called a polyp, slowly develops inside the colon. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cause obvious problems. But over time, that polyp can turn into cancer. And once symptoms like blood in the stool or abdominal pain appear, it may already be advanced. Or consider pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest types. The pancreas is tucked deep inside the body, so tumors can grow unnoticed. Most people don't feel anything until the cancer spreads, which is why survival rates are so low. Then there's lung cancer. You might think coughing or chest pain would show up early, but often they don't. People, especially smokers, may dismiss a persistent cough as just a smoker's cough or aging lungs. Meanwhile, cancer cells are multiplying. Why people don't catch it early? So, why do so many people miss early detection? Fear. Many people are afraid of the results, so they avoid screenings. Lack of awareness. Some don't realize that routine tests like colonoscopies or mammograms can catch cancer before it's dangerous. Believing I feel fine. People assume no symptoms means no problem. But with cancer, that assumption can be deadly. Lifestyle factors that reduce risk. Of course, prevention is more than screenings. Lifestyle plays a massive role. Research shows that up to 40% of cancers could be prevented through lifestyle changes. Here are the biggest factors. Avoid smoking. Tobacco causes about 22% of global cancer deaths. Limit alcohol. Even moderate drinking increases cancer risk over time. Problem number 4, neurodegenerative diseases. Narration. The fourth hidden health problem that quietly shortens lives before 80 is neurodegenerative disease. These are conditions where the brain and nervous system slowly break down over time. The most common are Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Now, these conditions don't just shorten lifespan, they also deeply affect quality of life. And that's why they're often the most feared. The silent beginning. Alzheimer's, for example, usually starts with small memory lapses. forgetting where you put your keys, struggling to remember a name, or repeating a question. At first, people laugh it off. Oh, that's just old age. But what's really happening inside the brain is far more serious. Abnormal proteins, called amyloid plaques and tau tangles, are slowly building up, damaging brain cells. Over years, this damage spreads, affecting memory, reasoning, and even the ability to perform daily tasks. By the time it's diagnosed, the disease may have been silently progressing for a decade or more. Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's works differently, but it's equally hidden in its early stages. It starts with subtle tremors in the hands, stiffness, or slight changes in walking. But inside the brain, dopamine-producing neurons are dying. Dopamine is critical for movement and coordination. So as levels drop, symptoms worsen. What makes both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's especially dangerous is that they start silently, with signs so mild that people ignore them. By the time families notice something is really wrong, it's often advanced. The impact. Neurodegenerative diseases don't just affect the patient. They affect entire families. Loved ones watch as memory fades, independence is lost, and simple daily activities become difficult. And while these diseases aren't always a direct cause of death, they make the body weaker, more vulnerable to infections, accidents, and other health complications that shorten life expectancy. Storytelling example. Let me share a story. Helen was 79 when her family began noticing changes. She was once sharp, active, and loved doing crossword puzzles. But she started misplacing things, forgetting recipes she'd made for years, and getting lost in familiar places. At first, they thought it was just normal aging. But a few years later, Helen was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Looking back, her doctor explained that the disease had likely been developing silently in her brain for more than 10 years before the first signs appeared. The numbers. Alzheimer's disease currently affects over 55 million people worldwide, and that number is expected to nearly triple by 2050. Parkinson's disease affects over 10 million people globally. These diseases are among the top 10 causes of death worldwide. But here's the hopeful part. While there's no complete cure yet, research shows that lifestyle changes can lower the risk and delay progression. Prevention and brain health strategies. So, what can we do to protect the brain and extend both lifespan and health span? The years we live in good health? Keep the brain active. Reading, puzzles, learning new skills, or even playing a musical instrument helps build cognitive reserve, which can delay the effects of memory loss. Exercise regularly. Physical activity boosts blood flow to the brain and encourages the growth of new brain cells. Eat a brain-friendly diet. Studies show the Mediterranean diet, rich in olive oil, fish, nuts, whole grains, and vegetables, can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by up to 40%. Social connections. Loneliness is a major risk factor for cognitive decline. Staying socially engaged through family, friends, or community protects the brain. Sleep deeply. Poor sleep has been linked to buildup of harmful brain proteins. 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is crucial. Manage stress. Chronic stress can shrink parts of the brain like the hippocampus, which is essential for memory. Inspiring example. One inspiring case is from Japan, where people in Okinawa live some of the longest lives on Earth. Studies show that lifestyle, plant-based diets, daily activity, strong social bonds, and a sense of purpose called ikigai dramatically lowers rates of dementia and keeps people mentally sharp well into their 90s. This shows us that while genes play a role, daily habits and community make a huge difference. Closing thought for this section. So, neurodegenerative diseases may be silent and frightening, but they're not entirely beyond our control. By keeping our brains and bodies active, eating well, and staying socially connected, we can lower the risk and maintain independence for much longer. Living beyond 80 isn't just about avoiding death. It's about preserving the mind, the memories, and the ability to enjoy life. Final conclusion: the 4 hidden problems. Now, let's recap everything we've learned. The 4 hidden health problems that quietly stop people from living beyond 80 are silent heart disease, arteries clogging slowly without warning, until one day it's too late. Undetected diabetes, high blood sugar damaging the body for years before it's discovered. Hidden cancers, growing silently until they're harder to treat. Neurodegenerative diseases, conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's that steal years and quality of life. Each of these can shorten life, but each of them can also be fought with awareness, early detection, and lifestyle changes. The hopeful message: here's the good news. Regular screenings can catch these problems early. Healthy habits can prevent many of them from developing in the first place. And most importantly, the choices we make daily, what we eat, how we move, how we sleep, how we connect with others, can literally add decades to our lives. Science shows that the average person could live 10 to 20 years longer just by managing these risks. That means more time with family, more adventures, more birthdays, and more memories. Final words to audience. So if you want to live not just longer, but better, here's the takeaway. Don't ignore subtle signs in your body. Don't skip routine checkups. And don't underestimate the power of small, consistent lifestyle changes. Your health is like an investment account. The earlier you start investing, the bigger the rewards later in life. So start today, because your 80s, 90s, and even 100s don't have to be just a dream. They can be your reality. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and share it with someone you love. You never know. This information might save a life. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 4 hidden health problems do you think people ignore the most? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing health and wellness insights. Until next time, take care of your health, because your future self is counting on you.